Hi, everyone. Welcome back to GrandpaMark's Hobbies and a finale of my Revell Volkswagen T1 Samba Bus Flower Power Grandpa Mark's Hobbies Purple Group Build Bus. Like I said last time, that is a mouthful. I didn't do a second update because I finished before I realized I was going to be done. Everything went pretty much as planned and as I figured it was going to. So let's get the guys out of the way and we'll talk about what's going on here. Everybody was hanging out for Tim and Terry's photo shoot. They tried to get one on Daisy and she wasn't going to hear it. Rob's cooking lunch. We also got some donuts and some pizza. So everybody was happy with this one. It's nice having everybody back in the shop again. Let's talk about this bus. I'm just going to bring it down so I'm not picking it up and shaking it all over the place. This thing went pretty stinking good. Like I told you last time, the decals, they gave me some problems, but it wasn't anything we could work through. You know what I mean? It was decals. Some of them didn't want to move. Some of them didn't want to lay down. A couple of them chipped. But fortunately, and it's blue again. You'll see good color in the pictures. I'm going to do a little video music thing or picture music thing at the end, and I got some good pictures with the color that looks right. But like I said, where I had to touch up any of the decals, it was no big deal because Tamia's paint matched the decals to a T. So it all worked out good. I did end up, I don't even know, it's really subtle, but I ended up doing the silver decal that goes around the separation. And that worked out very well for me. They went on better than anything else I did. So I had fun with those. The doors the front doors at least, are closed. The pins in the front, and I knew this was going to be a problem. Let me bring it up in the decals. I'm going to pause you here for a second, and I'll bring it up, and I'm going to show you in the instructions. What you got is you have 2 pin receivers here, and 2 pins that stick up right here, and absolutely no flex in either one of them to get it to where the pins will drop in. I tried going this way and putting it around to where somehow they were supposed to slide in there. I looked at a couple of videos. Nobody said anything about how those doors are supposed to go on. And sure enough, I ended up breaking the top pin off of both port and starboard sides. But you know what? It's okay because, like on the driver's side, the way the front end went on, everything was canted this way just a little bit. And I had some gaposis in the bottom of this door. So when I put the roof on, it all lined itself back up, but it put a lot of pressure right here on the bottom. And if the doors opened, I would have sanded that off to make it fit better. But since they don't, it kind of locks this door closed, locks this in to where everything lined up perfectly, and it even made my trim line up. Now with the trim, let's keep talking on this side while I'm at it. The trim, I painted the gap between the decals here on the white. It's supposed to stop right at the bottom of the white and then start back up over here. I didn't like that. I found that paint matched out real good, so I painted it, and then I laid this decal on there, and what's cool is you can see the paint go in between the decal. So I like that. It's like they painted the rubber bumper, the white rubber bumper that goes around it when they painted the decal but didn't paint the chrome. And I'm happy with that. Also, I'm happy with the way the windows went in. 13 windows on the bus, and that's, everybody knows it's a 13 window bus. But the windows are made to where, with the openings, and I'm going to break that door off yet. The openings, you lay it in this way and it drops in place. So what I did is, on the glass itself, there's a ring, and I just used a black Sharpie marker and highlighted that ring, and that went way better than I expected. On everything, I did that. And then when I went to test fit them, it did not look good. What I ended up doing is I painted the inner frame all the way around on every window with black, and just by craft black. That's all I used on there. And it darkened it up. It got rid of that white that was shining through the window this way. So that I highly recommend doing. It took me about an hour to do all the windows, and about 75 of my Q-tips. I like these for that because they got the pointy side where I was able to come up around and clean up where it ran over on both sides, in and out. So it's ended up with a really clean job. The craft paint's forgiving. It wipes off this really easy. But when it dried and I put the Mod Podge in there, it hid that white, and it made the glass look like it had a rubber frame all the way around it. And like I said, for the hours worth of work it took to do it, I think it paid for itself. Look down through, I got a Rolling Stone magazine and a Grateful Dead album cover on the back seat. I was playing around with the printer because I wanted to do the license plates. The back, we'll tilt it this way. Both doors do work. This one, I'm going to probably display it with this open. It's got a little pin right there that rotates out and holds this open. I kept it closed for the photo shoot. I made a Ohio license plate. I was having fun. We did one hippie, so calling it the hippie van. Again, I opted for the top to be open, and I talked about how I did that in the last video. But then I painted this with the craft paint, which made it perfectly flat. Then I came back with Quick Shine and made it perfectly semi-gloss. And it looked okay on there, and the more I looked at it, the more it bugged me. So I went back over that with the craft paint, just kind of dry brushed it on there, and now it's got that been out in the sun look. I did do a clear coat on the whole thing. I did polish the purple side, but I didn't polish the top. I wanted the top to be a little closer to satin than the gloss that I got on this. The body is Kaleido purple and Kaleido white. That's pretty much it over white primer. It went on really nice. Didn't fight me at all. Polished nice. 2 coats of clear on the body. 1 coat of clear on the top, just to seal that paint in. And more to seal the decals in than anything else. But I'm really jazzed with this. The mirrors fit in little holes in the side. I had to trim the mirrors to make them fit in the holes, but it was no big deal. They're super glued in. Fusion firm on the mirror part of the mirrors, and that looks really good. I like that. Just a drop of Fusion firm on there, and I went out to the edges and stopped. So I had them painted white, and then put that drop in there, and the drop just ran out to the edge and left that nice white ring for me. So I was real happy with that. I did do some brush touch-up with the Kaleido Purple. I talked about that in my tool video. I have a spoon with blue. No, it's purple. But I put it in there. I let it go for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then brush painted it on. And that seemed to work very well, especially like where the decal is here across the back. Now, you can see my brush marks, but that was black or the silver, I'm sorry. And I brush painted it over. I didn't think you were going to be able to see that. So I didn't worry about it until I realized, wow, that sticks out like a sore thumb. So I brush painted it over with the purple. About 20 minutes later, I realized I had a couple of little touch-ups that I wanted to do. This was already too hard to use. I had to put another drop in there. So you can see my bumpers came out really good. That's Fusion Firm on the chrome, and then the Folk Art. I keep forgetting. I always want to say apple butter or apple barrel, but it's the Folk Art black over top of them, and that made them look really good. The taillights and headlights, you see, I didn't do the orange on the taillights. It's just all red, and that's because I lit these, and it was going to look weird. So I let that go. All the chrome rods on the inside, I was thinking about doing them aluminum, and then I said, no, this is a yuppie hippie job. So I went with the chrome where I could, across the top of the seats, around the window trim and all that. And I'm super happy for that. It looks good. The doors, the back doors at least open up, and they were designed a little better. They just had little bumps, and they just clicked in like almost like a Lego would. But they worked out good. You can see the seats went in really good. The interior, I got some really good pictures of the interior, but man, that came out nice. The dash and all that. So let's light this up and we'll talk about the lights. I need my tweezers for this. This is the one big compromise I had to do is I couldn't put an engine in there, so I had to put the hamster on the wheel because that's where the battery goes. This is a lot easier to do upside down. And I just pull the battery out, turn the switch on. Thumb's not working. There we go. Chuck the battery back in. And the lights are lit. See, you wouldn't, that orange would have showed up way more than I would have wanted it to, the way I had to light the back. What I did is I drilled a hole big enough. Well, I drilled a 0.6 millimeter hole. My bigger yellow that looks orange. I used this drill bit to drill through the chrome. So I had a big hole there, glued it on, and then once it was dry, I drilled a smaller hole through the body. And then I pulled the wire in this way so the LED went down into the framework but wouldn't pull all the way through. And then I glued the glass on top of that. That's why if you look, the glass has the bump on the outside and not the inside. But you know what? Can you tell? Unless you're really looking hard, you're not going to ever tell that those light lenses are on backwards. And it really worked out because I needed that hole for the LED to sit. So, you know, you got to lose something to gain something, and I thought it was worth it. Don't forget I got Group Build on here in USA. The front went really cool, and I wish you could see this in person because it looks nothing like what those headlights. They're not white. They're clear with just the LED shining dead center on there. These things have a standoff on the inside of the chrome. And I drilled that standoff in just big enough so the LED would pull, or the wires would pull through it, but not big enough for the LED to go through it. And so the LED sticks out proud and lights this whole area up. and it looks just like a light bulb in there. I mean, it worked exactly the way I wanted. They're crystal clear in there. I took the lenses on the inside before I glued them on, and I used my quick shine on them, let them dry overnight, and then, oh, I knocked one of those off. Wonder where that went. There it is. It's over here. I'm good. Well, now you can see that. But then I glued it on there, and then I put the other one on top of it. So I obviously didn't use enough Mod Podge to hold it on there. But everything happens, right? The Volkswagen, I painted the circle on the inside and then dropped the chrome on top of it, and I'm glad I did that. I really like that look. The windshield wipers, I even painted the black for the blades on there, and then glued them in place, and then took my Fusion Firm and went over top of those just to brighten them up a bit. So that all worked out good. We'll flip it over. The underside looks good. No, nothing major on there. I glued the wheels turned, and I glued the steering wheel turned, so everything matches. I see this little hole right here. I am going to have to do something with that. It's driving me nuts. But everything went on there really well. It all fit well. And again, I didn't have any struggles with this whatsoever. None. So, other than the doors, everything else went great. The wires fit right underneath between the two body panels. There's a chassis and then an interior panel. And I was able to run all those wires straight back through. Worked out fantastic. So with that, how about if we start our music video? And with that, I would like to thank Gallery for everything they've done. Like I said, most of this is Kaleido Paint. If you're going to get anything from Gallery, use GrandpaMark in your coupon code, and you'll get 10% off of everything, including what's on sale. Let's thank our veterans, our active duty members, and our first responders for putting it on the line every single day. I salute each and every one of you, and thank you very much. And I want to thank all of you for sticking around to the end. Y'all have a great day, a better tomorrow, and thank you again for watching.